I'm Robert Timmons, and you're watching Weekly Words.
Stop me, oh, somebody stop me, stop me, stop me, please, somebody stop me, oh, somebody stop me, and Lord, if I'm...
Thank you for checking out this week's episode of Weekly Words. I'm excited for today because we're talking about a topic that I've been wanting to talk about for a long time, but just couldn't find the words to say what I wanted to say, but I think I finally found them, so let's get started. Okay, so I think that a lot of people can relate to the idea of just having so much to do and not a lot of time to do it, right? Lots of times we want to try to squeeze all these different things in, but there's only 24 hours in a week and 7 days in a week, right? We want to, regardless of what season you're in, if you're married, if you have a family, if you're single, or if you're dating, right? Maybe you have work or school, and you want to do extracurricular, and you want to go to church, and you want to work out, and you want to eat healthy, and you want to cook your food, and you want to just rest, you want to watch TV, right? There's just all these things to do, and I think a lot of people, myself included, struggle with being able to fit everything we want to do in the amount of time that we have to do it, right? So what do? I think that lots of times we're always taught or kind of given the ideology to balance everything, right? To make everything fit into our schedule and be organized and be disciplined and do these different things for this amount of time and whatever our schedule may be, right? And I think that in some cases does work, and I am typically an organized person and I can do that, but if anything goes over, it messes up the rest of the schedule because the timing is off, right? But I also want to kind of suggest something new, because balancing kind of suggests that things are kind of equal and that it will always equal out in something, and it's like the same standard thing. What I want to suggest is that instead of trying to look for balance, is that we actually look for harmony. So when I say harmony, I want you to kind of think about an orchestra or a band, right? In an orchestra or a band, there's a lot of different instruments and lots of different musicians going on to make the song or make the sound that we hear, right? Now, all the different instruments and all the different musicians aren't always playing at the same time, aren't always playing at the same speed, aren't playing the same notes. They're not always playing the same amount of time within any given song or any given set. It changes based on the song, it changes based on the mood, it changes based on the tempo, it changes based on the sound. It's very fluid. But whenever they produce it's something that's going to sound nice to our ears. They find the harmony so everything meshes together in a positive and nice way, right? In this idea of harmony, every single note or every single instrument has its proper time to come in and its proper amount of time that it's going to be playing. Everything has its moment, right? And I think this kind of goes with the whole concept of time and making time for everything, because lots of times we think the answer is the quantity of time, right? But really it's the quality of the time, right? I found in my life that I don't necessarily feel the most prepared or the most productive or the most, acceptable of what I've done in terms of like me getting all these things done and, me, running for 10 hours straight and just doing things for 10 hours, because that's when I get tired and less productive. But whenever what I do is quality performance, right? Whenever something is actually done effectively and done efficiently, when it's that quality, I think that it actually comes out a little bit better because it's in its time, right? There is that harmony to it. We've found the melody, we found the right notes and all those different things. So I think in our life, we have to do that, right? And see that things are going to change from season to season. Things are going to change from person to person, but everything has its rightful place. And so I think in our lives, whenever we're trying to put all these things together that make up our life, we have to find that same harmony, right? We have to recognize that there are the things that are the big priorities in our life that, could change from season to season, depending on if you're single or if you have a family or if you're working towards a degree or doing a particular project in work or trying to, start your own business. Everything kind of changes from season to season, and that's where the harmony comes in, because at different points in the song, different instruments are heard more than the other, right? And the thing is, like with the harmonic sound, every note and every element isn't always heard as loud as another one, right? Some instruments or some notes have more of a quiet, subtle tone to it, where you almost don't really hear that it's there, but it's part of the overarching sound. And so I think the way that can relate over into our lives is kind of, the discipline or some of the things that we're working on in our private life before it's ready to become to the public. So, for example, right now, I'm not performing as much as I was in the past at different poetry events, right? But I'm still, writing constantly and making this conscious effort to improve and hone in on my craft, right? So right now, the poetry that I'm doing is kind of like this quiet undertone that everybody's not necessarily hearing and experiencing, but there is going to come a time in my song, when the poetry is going to be more of this loud sound again, right? When I'm going to step back into performing more regularly. So for you, there might be a thing that you're working on in your private time, whether it be praying in your relationship with God, maybe it be something with your family, or maybe it be starting up your business, or writing out a story, or just planning something. It might be something that's this consistent sound in the background where people don't really know what it sounds like, but they just know something's there because you're always working on something. And then whenever the right moment in the song comes, it's going to be louder and be mixed in with the harmony of that time in your life, right? So whenever you're trying to put everything all together, don't look at it as like this balancing of like, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Think about it as this time to find the harmony in everything that you're doing, right? Everything's going to have this pulse that meshes together and this sound that comes together, because whenever orchestras and band unify, the sound that they make is beautiful. So find the harmony in your life where everything that you are doing is coming together to make a beautiful sound and comfort anybody who listens. All right, so question time. Just like every other week, I'm going to ask you guys a couple of questions. And again, I encourage you to think through them by yourself and also talk about them with your accountability partner to see in which ways you've been growing and which ways you can continue to grow this year. All right, so question 1. Can you write a list of everything going on in your life right now? Can you write a list of everything going on in your life right now? Question 2. Out of these things, what have the highest priority and what can take a back seat? Out of these things, what takes highest priority and what can take a back seat? And question 3. At what point, if any, will the things on this list change in their priority? At what point, if any, will the things on this list change in their priority? Thank you for checking out this week's episode of Weekly Words. I pray that you thoroughly enjoyed it and got something positive from it. If you have any suggestions for things for me to talk about in the future, feel free to email me at weeklywordsrt@gmail.com. Again, that's weeklywordsrt@gmail.com. All right, I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you back here next time.
Stop me, oh, somebody stop me, please, somebody stop me, oh, somebody stop me, and Lord,